beautiful people. My name is Creatrix. Welcome back to my channel called The World Stage. I am a spiritual scientist and a spiritual investigative journalist, and I bring to you the most potent energy that's vibrating, permeating throughout the global world right now, the entire world. Okay, I am a clear, pure channel here to bring you the most purest reading of the energy. Okay, and I did a video, my previous video, I did it yesterday. And I posted it yesterday, and it was about mastering time, okay, and how you can literally press play or pause or slow down, okay, whatever you're trying to manifest or bring into fruition into your life. Okay, one of the most things in that video, which I do recommend that you watch it in order to be able to fully grasp what we're going to discuss today. But even if you don't, you'll still understand what I'm talking about today. But in that previous video, my main point was to one, really drive in the fact that manifestations, whatever we're desiring to bring to our lives, are actually things that are going to come into fruition in our life. It's not that we are inspired by something and then we want to manifest it into our life. No, the manifestation already exists. It already has occurred in some type parallel timeline, right? However, what we're doing is pulling that timeline or aligning ourselves with that timeline in order to be able to receive the manifestation. And we can align ourselves the way that we align ourselves. We can fast forward on that alignment, or we can slow down that alignment. But in terms of the manifestation coming in, it's going to come in for us. That's why we're even thinking about it in the first place. So we're all psychic pretty much, in a sense. All right, it's not an accident and it's not a coincidence that you want to manifest what it is that you have an idea or a desire to manifest. Okay, and the second thing about it is that yes, we can, in order to master time, you use the three-dimensional realm. You become a master of the three-dimensional realm, especially discipline, the aspect of discipline. Um, we use that to be able to slow things down or speed things up. Okay, for example, if you want to manifest a hot body, right? Then if you want to manifest it in quickly, or let's get this. Let me say this. Somebody, I feel they're giving me another example, right? Somebody's trying to manifest like a more lifted, nicer face shape, or like a better face shape, right? Well, you wouldn't just massage your skin, right? And someone wants to do this naturally, right? You wouldn't just massage your skin. You would also do facial exercises, right? If you want to bring this in as quickly as possible, you would do facial exercises. You would massage your skin maybe twice a day, 3 times a day, right? Well, whatever is recommended by, by the professionals, right? I'm not a professional. But maybe you do it morning and evening, and you keep being consistent, and you're taking healthy uh, vitamins, minerals, proteins to be able to build that facial muscle up. And also you're really working on your stress, because high cortisol actually makes our faces puffy. So you're attacking it in different directions, right, to bring your goal in sooner, right? But if you wanted to slow down on a manifestation coming in, right, like let's say you're being overwhelmed by how much you're focusing on your manifestation to bring your face goals, right? Then you would take a break. You would take a break and you would pause. And you're not, like, we do this naturally all the time, but we're not realizing that we are the masters of time. And once you get a grasp of this, you can use this intentionally in whatever it is that you're trying to manifest in your life. You'll be able to speed things up and slow things down at your will. All right, and use breathing as well to slow time down as well. All right, or even to when you feel like time is moving really slow, keeping yourself busy actually makes time move faster. Time is relative, right? Like Einstein said. So this is what we talked about in the previous video, and I just wanted to reiterate it here because I'm laying a foundation for what we're going to talk about next, which is the sweet spot. Okay, so this is for y'all that have a goal to manifest something into your life quicker. All right, there are these what I call sweet spots in the journey to reaching that manifestation, right? And these sweet spots are areas or times during this journey where things get really, really difficult. You could be feeling like you just don't want to. You just don't want to. Maybe for my ladies, our hormones are out of whack and we just don't want to. It's that time of the month and we just don't want to. While I do not recommend pushing yourself during cycles in our, in our time of the month where our energy is low, because that can cause stress unintentionally, I do recommend doing an alternative. Okay, and I'll talk about that more. So if you're a woman and there are times during your cycle where you just can't seem to push yourself to do the full extent of what you need to do in order to pull that manifestation into you quicker, then doing a variation of it is beneficial. All right, but I'll get into that later. So these sweet spots, right, are times during our journey to manifesting that we really just are tired, we don't want to, we're having second thoughts, we want to revert back to that older version of ourselves instead of staying consistent in the version of ourselves that is ready to receive that manifestation, right? So during these moments, these sweet spot moments, when you push yourself to be consistent, to still be that person who deserves the manifestation, to still push yourself to be consistent, to do the things that you might not want to do in the moment when it's really, really challenging and it's really becoming an obstacle. And maybe this is happening like over a span of days, and days and days go by where you really don't want to do it, but you just keep doing it, right? Whatever it is for you, right? These are the moments that really pull in that manifestation. These are the moments that really signal to the universe, to yourself, to your team, your spirit guides around you, that you indeed will, like, do deserve this manifestation, are going to receive this manifestation just the way that you want it, how you want it. All right, so these are the moments that I call the sweet spot, because this sends huge ripples across the universe, and it will bring and it will align you with the timeline in which that manifestation comes into your life quicker. It's like, what I'm getting is like, in Super Mario Kart, when you hit the little arrows with your cart and it like gives you a super boost and you like surpass everybody that is racing behind you. So these sweet spots are kind of like that. When the energy is really, really heavy, right? When you just don't feel like it, and you're starting to have negative thoughts, and it's like, oh, maybe I don't need to do it. Oh, maybe I'll just do it tomorrow, or I'll just do it later. When those thoughts start happening, that's when you need to think, oh, this is really the moment. A sweet spot is happening. Okay, your body is getting ready to go into a timeline jump. All right, that's really what these sweet spots are timeline shifts, right? And so you can recognize when a timeline shift is happening, because your body and your mind will really want to pull back into that old version of itself and do what it's used to doing and staying in the comfort zone. So what we do is we realize what's happening, and that we're about to leap into a different timeline or make a timeline shift, and we need to really push ourselves to stick to the version of ourselves that aligns with the manifestation. And it's like a super boost, it's like a super punch into that future self, into the manifestation, all right, that you are aiming to bring in. So you will become whoever I'm speaking to. I'm picking up that you're going to become so freaking good at this that you're going to start craving these moments to where, like, man, I wish my body and my mind would react that way. I wish them would, so that I can show myself and the universe and my guides what it is that I got. These are the moments, like, I'm picking up on Rocky Balboa when he's doing like the workout scene, the famous workout scene. He's going up the steps, and like he's like cheering for himself, or it's like that montage with the music. Um, and it's that moment really that we have these moments all the time in our lives, and we sometimes we succumb to the negative thoughts, the bogging down, because during these moments there really is no reason. Like, just think about it. All of the reasons you give yourself as to why you shouldn't keep being consistent to prove to the universe that you are the person that you say you are, if you think about those excuses, it's just like, what? Why? What? Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm tired. They're not real excuses. It's kind of like, what? If you really think about what your mind is telling yourself, it's like, um, okay, that's not really a reason not to do what it is that I came here to do. Like, you're gonna start realizing all the weird shit, and that it's really an illusion. It's an emotional illusion. Okay, I am picking up that this could also be witchcraft. I'm picking up that for somebody, if you're somebody who it seems like you have a goal and you've had a goal for a really long time, like it could be a body goal, right? You've been trying to lose weight, you've been trying to get toned, you've been trying to hit your goals for a really long time, but like every time you get to a certain point, it just seems like you stop, or you revert back to the old way of being, or you're even like afraid to be better. You're afraid to be better. You self-sabotage, and you make sure you only get to a certain place. And then it's like this cycle, this never-ending cycle that has been going on for a long time. Like, you want to look better, you want to feel better, you want to do better, but you get to a certain point where you just give up for no reason. You give up for no reason. And ooh, I'm picking up for somebody not feeling good, or making the excuse of my health, blah blah blah. Somebody needs to hear that that's not an excuse. Like, yeah, don't shoot the messenger. Somebody out here is feeling like their health is an excuse to not reach their body goals specifically. I'm picking up, and yeah, there's always a way around it. There's always an alternative way. You always have a choice as to do what it is that you want to do, but you also always will have an excuse not to do it. So it's really up to you. Okay, so yeah, for somebody out there, it's also witchcraft. Like, you are somebody who a lot of people envy. There's a lot of jealousy in your, like, a lot of people think about you. A lot of people think about you, even when they're not around you, they think about you. And this affects you. Like, you could be constantly like drained or tired, or feel drained or tired, um, especially during like a time of the month. And it's not necessarily your hormones all the way. Like, I'm picking up that, ooh, there could be people doing witchcraft on you because they know your cycle, they know your time of the month, and they wait for when you are vulnerable due to your hormonal fluctuations to attack you. That's what I'm picking up on. That's crazy. So it could be somebody really close to you. I'm picking up that it is somebody very close to you. I'm not picking up on family, I'm picking up on a friend. Damn. So yeah, that's a message for somebody out there. But no matter, so witchcraft is not an excuse either. Okay, nobody can take your free will away. They can only influence you. All right, but the magic, the sweet spot that I was talking about, when you have the most witchcraft coming at you, when you have the evil eyes coming at you, when you just don't feel like it, that is, like I said, the best point in time and space to really push forward. Okay, because I told you that's literally a portal opening up for you to be able to walk through it. All right, that's why that moment is the hardest. It's because you're making a timeline shift. And what does that mean? You're not going backwards. Those are the moments where you solidify who it is that you are in this realm. So if you make friends with that moment and you start to crave those moments and you start to crave those challenges and those obstacles, you will become a master in this realm. You will be unstoppable, independent in your power. Nobody will have power over you. Do you understand how like amazing this is? It's just a mind shift, a mind frame, a mindset. And it all of the magic happens internally, right? So just being able to push yourself to do a little something, not even a little something, but yeah, you can start out with like a little something, and then you will feel the energy to do it all the way, or at least do a version of it that is sufficient enough. You get what I'm saying? Like, let's say, for example, you're supposed to do like a really heavy workout at the gym or whatever, and you really just don't feel like it. You could do an at home workout for 30 minutes, but give it your all, right? And you trick yourself into starting, because that's usually the hardest point for people, is starting, right? Like if there's something that you do consistently daily or monthly or weekly, and it's something new to you because it's a new version of yourself that you're transitioning into, it's usually just starting it that's the hardest part. When you after you start it, it's usually very easy to keep continuing right in the moment to do it. So just starting it, sometimes you need to trick yourself, or you need to dangle a carrot in front of yourself and be like, hey, if I do this thing, then I'll give myself this reward, right? Like there's so many different ways, and there's so many videos on YouTube on how to trick yourself into being consistent that we can all go look up and implement into our lives, because we're all different and we all need different things, right? Like, for example, I realized by studying myself is that I love variety. I love variety in all different types of ways. I love variety in food. I love variety in style, like clothing, fashion. I love variety in hairstyles. I love variety when it comes to like my surroundings and my environment. I love to move around and live in different places. And I love variety in the way that I work out. So for a long time, I had a lot of trouble keeping up with my workout routine, because it would be like, oh, I'm going to spend this many months in the gym, right? Or I'm just going to work out at the gym. No, I like to work out. I like to go hiking to work out. I like to work out at home. I like to work out at the trail behind my house. I like to work out in the gym too. I like to work out in classes, in group settings. I like to work out alone. Like, I love variety. I'm a variety. What do they say? Variety is the spice of life. So I had to learn that about myself. And when I did, I started to become more consistent and I started to see better results. Okay. And it's funny because I'm a Taurus, and they say that Tauruses don't really switch up. Like, we're very fixed signs. And it's interesting because my son is in the third house, which is the house of Gemini. And it's also the house that rules over variety. And so variety is just something that I like, even though I'm a Taurus and I'm a fixed sign. I like variety. And what usually happens is I switch it up and I stick with it for a while, and then I switch it up and I stick with it for a while, no matter what it is. Like, it could be food. Like, I'll be into soup and I'll eat soup for like 2 weeks straight, but then I'll need to switch it up and I'll be into something else, right? So, yeah, I love variety, and I had to figure that out about myself. So, studying yourself is also part of the process in order to get the best results possible, right? And like I said, us women, like, cycle syncing is amazing. I love cycle syncing. If you don't know what that is, there's so many videos out there about cycle syncing, but basically it is when you figure out your cycle, right? From your last period to your next period. That is your 28 day, or 28 days to 35 days for on average for women, right? But during that period, our hormones go through a lot of fluctuating, right? And during this cycle, we have ovulation, we have our actual period where our menstruation comes in. Um, we have the luteal phase, and we have the follicular phase, I believe, right? So after our menstrual phase, we have the follicular phase, then we have the ovulation phase, and then the luteal phase, which leads back into the menstrual phase. And so understanding your cycle is very beneficial, because our energy can, or is very much so, impacted by this cycle. Our emotions are impacted by this cycle. Our eating habits are impacted by this cycle. Like, basically, women, like us women, everyone, humans in general, we're a bunch of uh, like walking bag of hormones. So being mindful of that is very important, right? So there might be times during your cycle, like usually your luteal phase leading up to your menstrual cycle, right? Where you don't feel like working out. If we're using the example of working out or like body gains, right? You might in fact feel like you might have cravings to where you feel like you want to eat a bunch of stuff, right? That is not in alignment with the version of you that you're trying to manifest, which is the person who has a hot body, right? Or who eats right, who has a different lifestyle, right? You might want to revert back to your old self, because at that moment you're feeling really vulnerable, you're feeling weak, you're having cravings, you don't have a lot of energy, right? So what you do is you have to trick your mind to be able to trick your body into starting something, right? Like, if your goal is to move, then you got to move. You got to figure out an amount of time that you're going to move. You got to figure out the body parts that you want to hit during your movement. And yeah, and then you have to figure out what is acceptable for you in order to get to your weight goals or body goals to eat, right? Like, what are you okay with? Like, if you have sugar cravings, then let's not eat sugar, let's not eat processed sugar, but let's do honey, right? So you everyone has to figure this out for themselves. And I use the example of, dieting and exercise and all that stuff, because a lot of us deal with that. But this could be for anything, right? This could be for anything. This could be for like making money. Sometimes you don't feel like start like you don't feel like going on your laptop and checking up on your business, and nobody's there to force you to do it. You don't have a boss, you don't have anybody asking you about your schedule and why you're not at work. And maybe this is the first time you've been self-employed, and you have to create your own schedule, and sometimes you just feel like staying in bed, right? You have to be the one to pick yourself up. And during these times where you don't feel like it, or it's really difficult to do, are the times where I'm telling you, the sweet spot portal opens up, and you have to walk through it by keeping your promise to yourself and the universe that you are who you say you are. And this, I'm telling you, this is what is going to pull your manifestation in quicker. All right. And it's all logical. It all makes sense if you think about it. All right. But we tend not to look at these things in a way that's magical, but they are in fact magical. There's no such thing as the mundane. There's no such thing as the mundane. Everything is magic. And just because we're not all wearing top hats and carrying around a wand doesn't mean that we're not magical creatures, right? We live, the illusion is mundane. The illusion is mundane, but the reality is that we're all using magic on this realm to create the very existence that we desire to live. All right, whether we're intentional about it or not. All right. So I hope that made sense. I hope this helped. I love you all so very much, and I will see you in the next video. Creatrix out.